Thanks for checking out Chamber Web TV. This is Cambridge Votes 2014, a conversation with the candidates for the upcoming October 27th municipal election. I'm Brian Butcher, I'm Vice President of the Chamber, and it's my pleasure to sit down right now with Gary Price, the incumbent and candidate in Ward 6. Gary, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Taking
Brian.
a minute of your
Pleasure.
busy day. I guess now that it's all official and the books are closed, you're pounding in signs and knocking on doors.
Yep.
Rock and roll.
Yep. The fun begins.
The fun begins. Yeah, you're not new to this. You've done this before.
No, I have done this for a long time.
Did you have how many candidates running in your ward?
There's three of us.
3?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the game. Let
Sorry.
the games begin, eh?
Sorry, somebody slipped in at the last
Oh
minute.
yes,
There's
that's right.
Four
Yeah,
of us.
That's right. There's 4 of
Three
you. Yeah.
running against me.
Good. Lots of choice anyway.
Yep.
Okay, so first things first. Why are you running?
Well, I have been doing this for quite a while. Enjoying it. I still enjoy looking after issues for the residents of Ward 6. And unfortunately, we do get some. And being able to get to the bottom of their problem and get it solved for them quickly and effectively makes me happy and makes them happy. So I continue to do it.
Good. Good. So, what do you see as the biggest issue facing the city of Cambridge, and in fact, probably all municipalities in Ontario?
Well, the biggest problem is when we set our budget. When you look at what we spend for the city, probably 60-65% of our budget is wages. And the inside workers and the outside workers, we can negotiate. There's years when we do quite well, there's years when they do quite well. This last election or contract time, we settled for about 3% increase for 4 years, spread out over the 4 years. So we felt happy with that going into budget times, and they seemed happy with everything they got. So we kept the ship running smoothly. We kept the budget reasonably well. The problem is when we negotiate with the firefighters, we end up in a situation where they can't strike, so they have to come to an agreement. And if we can't come to an agreement, arbitration sets up, and we have no say in the arbitration case. And 9 times out of 10, they get awarded contracts that we have no say in, and end up being sometimes 2 or 3 times higher than what we expected.
Yeah.
So we settled for 3% over 4 years for the inside and outside workers approximately, and the firefighters are looking for 2.75 for 2013, 22.79 for 2014, and Lord only knows for 2015. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that that's a lot of money
Yeah, you wonder how that can
that
be
we have no
sustainable.
control over.
Yeah.
And every municipality's stuck that way because firefighters realize that if they don't negotiate, they can go to arbitration to basically get what they want without worrying about it.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah,
Yeah. I probably should talk to my boss about arbitration instead. That
yeah, it
sounds
might
like
help.
it works out for people. eh?
Yeah,
Okay, so you've been in your ward a long time, knocking on doors, talking to people.
yes.
What would you say is the single biggest issue in Ward 6?
Luckily in our ward, there's no development. It's pretty much developed out. There's no vacant land for the most part. So it's little patches here and there that have to be developed. So the majority of it's just roads and water and sewer.
The infrastructure.
Yep.
Okay, well, the chamber is always looking for candidates that have some big, bold ideas. Something new and exciting to take us down the next 4 years and into the future. Do you have some thoughts in that regard?
Well, as council's been fighting with the provincial government, and especially since Catherine McGarry's come on board, being a member of the transportation portfolio in Toronto, she's been told by our council that we need GO service ASAP. So we've set a big plan in place. We've gotten mayors and councillors between us and Milton on site to get GO service from Milton to Cambridge. And along the way, there will be a couple stops that Pushlands can get into and Campbellville can get into, and which would make it that more attractive for GO train to come this far. You know, Kitchener's gotten the service,
Yeah.
but if we got the train into Cambridge, it would be an hour quicker than if you go to the station in Kitchener.
And
to
it's
get it.
substantially cheaper
Yes.
to set up GO from Cambridge to Toronto
Yeah.
than it is from Kitchener.
Yeah.
Kitchener has one train going in the morning and one train coming back at night, but they've been promised now by the Wynne government that they're going to get two-way all day
Yeah.
GO, which is, you know, that's great for them.
Yeah.
But Cambridge has been fighting this battle for a couple of decades, and
Yeah. Now-
it
now that
seems a
we-
better option.
Yeah, now that we have somebody in the government, we think we have an inside track to at least get our situation heard. The nice part about it is the GO train parks every night just down the road from us in Campbellville. It's probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes from there to here along the railway tracks. They can come here before they start the morning run. They can come here for the second run. If we can get 2 runs in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, we'll prove to them it's a going concern here. And we have the space to put in a parking lot and a station that we can have people get on and off the train and place to park there.
Yeah.
So we think we have everything in our neck of the woods in order. Now we just have to prove to them that we're
Talk
a
'em
good
into it.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe tying into that a little bit is the LRT. You probably know the chamber was opposed to the LRT primarily because we're not real keen on the idea of Cambridge paying for the LRT but not getting the LRT. It didn't make sense that we couldn't be area rated out. But anyway, that battle has been waged and the die has been cast. LRT is on its way. We're kind of hopeful that maybe there's some out-of-the-box thinking, some ways that perhaps Cambridge can inspire quicker action in Cambridge to bring LRT here if in fact that's the right thing to do. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts are.
Well, Cambridge Council agreed with the chamber that we shouldn't be paying for it, something we're not going to get. But we're hoping that we can force their hand into doing it sooner rather than later. Once we start the GO service, people in Kitchener, Waterloo will realize that they take train down to Cambridge, it'll still be quicker than if they take the train out of Kitchener.
Yeah.
And when you slash an hour in each direction, it's a couple hours a day that people won't have to spend getting to and from work. It's a big advantage.
Yeah, and I find it hard to imagine the GO service being an attraction out of Kitchener for Cambridge residents because first they have to drive the half hour to get to the GO station, then they have to have a longer trip because it's a different route to get to Toronto. And it just clearly would make more sense for the Kitchener residents to come this way to get down a shorter route and less expensive.
In that case, if we can get the train, we know we can force the region into doing something to provide service between Kitchener and Waterloo and Cambridge a lot quicker to get people to the train a lot quicker than what they're planning for now.
It does seem to be a more logical answer, but maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you see Cambridge in 25 years?
Oh, that's a good one. Cambridge right now is almost at its peak as far as where we can go within our boundaries.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, we're going to have to expand into the township. And looking at it, we'll be going in all directions around the city. So doing that, we've already started with a south boundary road, south of Myers Road, and east boundary road around the east side of town so that people, and mostly trucks, trying to get through town don't have to go up through the downtown anymore. They'll be able to take this bypass around to the 401.
Is that bypass actually gonna happen now?
The South Boundary Road should be starting construction in 2016. That's what we hear from the region. It's their road.
Yeah.
It's passed all the environmental studies. Now it's just a matter of putting the budget together and putting a
Yeah.
contract out for the road. The East Boundary Road is close to that stage. They're narrowed it down to a couple possibilities where the road will go, and just after the new year, they'll make the decision on that.
Those would make such a huge difference.
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
they? That's
Big.
just
Big.
amazing. Again, kind of like our Dundas Street Bridge, something that should have been done
Years ago.
just a long time ago, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, so we're just about done here, but I think most people know now that Cambridge, for the first time, is going to allow online and telephone voting in this election, which promises to change the landscape and hopefully increase participation, voter participation quite a bit. Probably will have a different kind of impact on incumbents and on all candidates. So I'm just curious to know what your feeling is about online and telephone voting.
Well, what we did for this election, I think will make it a lot easier for everything. Online, people will be able to go onto their computer and vote for the municipal election like they do for football scores on
Yeah.
the weekend. It's simple any time of the day or night. They can access the computer, go on. They'll have a password sent to them to use it so that only they can do it. They can also do it by telephone if they don't have a computer, just a touch-tone pad, and you'll be able to access the voting privileges on that. Also, if you are a person who likes to still mark a ballot, we've made it easier for that also. This time around, all the polling clerks will be on a computer. They won't have the books there with your name
Yeah.
to check it off. They'll be able to go on the computer, see if you are a registered voter, where you are a registered voter, and allow you to vote at any poll. So we have advanced polls, one in downtown Galt, one in Preston, one in Hesper. You can go to the advanced polls on any three of them, no matter where you're voting from, and access your own ballot at those places. If you have to wait till election day, again, you can go to any poll in the city. If you lived in South Galt, but you worked in North Hesper, you can go to the poll that's closest to Hesper at lunchtime or after work, go and vote, and they can access your records there.
Right.
And so between all of the options, whether you're voting on the old-fashioned paper ballot, or you're voting by telephone, or whether you're voting by internet, you're not going to have any excuse that you weren't able to. We're trying to make it as simple and easy for people to vote so that the majority can come out and vote.
Well, it's my hope that that will also start some conversations a little bit early, and people will not only go online and vote for a name they recognize, but will have some conversations and understand a bit about what they're voting for when they vote for a candidate, because that's, to me,
Yeah.
critically important.
It sure helps when you know who you want to vote for,
Yeah.
and you know them personally.
For sure. Gary, is there anything you'd like to say directly to your constituents before we wrap it up?
The only thing I would add is I've been doing this 20 years, and I've been doing it for that long because I do represent the people in my ward well. I get things done for them. I get their problems solved as quick as possible, and I always get them an answer. Even if they don't like the answer, I get them an answer.
Sounds good, thank you. So remember, folks, you can vote online or by telephone between October 11th and 25th, or you can vote the old-fashioned way on the piece of paper on October 27th. Most important, do vote, please. Thank you, Gary, for coming in.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Brian.
your time.
My pleasure.